Hello everyone and welcome to another video where today I wanted to compare and contrast two very similar plants. One being field garlic, a wild edible, and the other being onion chives, a cultivated herb. Now, if you were to stop me and say, come on, that's the exact same plant, I wouldn't blame you. They are incredibly similar, especially at a distance. However, the similarities don't just end there, as field garlic is often used as a substitute for chives when chives are unavailable. This is typically done in the late fall and winter when this plant is growing, but chives are not. Given how similar the two species of plants are, it wouldn't surprise me if there's a significant number of people who use this as a substitute for chives without even knowing it during the winter months. But the similarities don't stop there, as both plants tend to spread like wildfire. Chives, when planted, will almost certainly come back in the spring in greater numbers, and field garlic is an invasive species, and it lives up to the namesake. But there are differences between the two, so I'm going to pick some of both to compare them. The first difference is subtle, but it's the most noticeable at a distance, and that's the fact that field garlic is sort of a bluish green, whereas chives are a more yellowish green. You can see the contrast and the colors a little bit better here. And also the second difference, which is arguably even more subtle, the linear vertical ridges on field garlic are a little more pronounced. It's a little more bumpy if you were to roll it from side to side in your hand. So they look similar and they grow similarly, but the question is, when it comes to cooking, do they taste similar? Now, I've tasted both of these before, and I know what to expect, so I'm going to start with the onion chives. Alright, so here's the onion chives to start, and pretty good. As one would expect from the name, they taste very much like onion. If you have ever put red onion, raw red onion on your salad, you know exactly what this tastes like. It has that exact same flavor profile, maybe a little less harsh. Now, a little less harsh is not a word I'm going to be using when tasting this. Because if you're not a fan of garlic, raw garlic already, this is intense. This tastes almost exactly like the garlic you get in the store. That is to say, it has a garlic flavor, not an onion flavor. The other notable difference is that this is not cultivated, it's completely wild, so it's quite a bit more fibrous than onion chives would be. If you were to cut it up like to cook with, the way we'd normally dice chives, that's no issue whatsoever, because it's so small you're not exactly chewing it. But in this form, you notice that there's a lot of fiber in here. So they both have different, but recognizable, and I would argue in the application of just a sprinkling on top of an already cooked dish, it's similar enough that you might not notice. And given that they have different flavors, one being garlic-like, the other being onion-like, maybe you would actually prefer this in some dishes that call for chives, if you want more of a garlic flavor. Well, I hope you all learned something and enjoyed. See ya.